being murdered. These children are not dying because of overdoses. These children are dying because they're being poisoned by what they believe is a pharmaceutical pill. I've already spoke to a mother whose child was just slightly older than mine. She was 18 and she lost her daughter. And the same person that sold my daughter the pill sold her daughter the pill.
And has he been arrested?
No.
He's still out there?
He is.
And you know who he is?
2.3 miles away from my home. I pass his neighborhood every day, at least once. I'm going to spend my life talking to anybody that I can to help raise awareness to prevent any mom or dad from feeling what my family has to feel. I'm never going to see my daughter again. Ever. And I have to do this every day. So that another mom doesn't feel this, I will do it.
That story, heartbreaking and powerful. It was a Newsmax exclusive with our border correspondent Jason Jones speaking with a mother who lost her daughter to fentanyl. Derek Maltz is the former agent in charge of DEA's Special Ops Division, and he joins us now. Derek, thank you very much. That story, as we were just listening to, it's tragic and it's becoming more common. Tell me about the impact of fentanyl when it comes to that younger generation and the impact it's having on them.
So thank you for having me. I work very closely with Jason, and we share these very sad stories. As a matter of fact, on September 17th, I was with hundreds and hundreds of families from around America at the Lost Voices of Fentanyl rally, trying to get the White House to pay attention to how these young kids, many kids that have never even tried drugs before, they're not all addicted, that are dying in their bedrooms after ordering like a prescription pill that they think is Adderall or Xanax or oxycodone, that are dying in their bedrooms as young as 13 years old. So we're starting to see much younger kids around America because they're obsessed with their smartphones and social media apps. And the Mexican cartels are taking total advantage of not only the wide open border, but also this unbelievable technology that we all have access to with our smartphones. So it's really sad.
Yeah, kids can get a hold of these drugs without their parents knowing, unfortunately. That's why you've got to have those dialogues, got to have those conversations in place. But there's another way that kids might be targeted now. It has to do with a very festive, traditional holiday here, Halloween. As we know, that's at the end of this month. The DEA warns of brightly colored fentanyl used to target young Americans. They say it's like fentanyl pills being disguised as candy that looks almost like Skittles or maybe sweet tarts. How big of a concern is this?
This is a huge concern because the cartels have a marketing campaign to drive addiction and drive profits. And they're making these drugs look like they're something special, which it's all the same poison coming out of labs in Mexico. But what we saw recently is the DEA task force in Hartford, Connecticut. They hit an organization that had 15,000 of these fake pills that were actually inside of the Nerds and the Skittles packaging, which is kind of unbelievable. We haven't seen that, or I haven't seen that. But now you think about it, like kids get access to these boxes and they, unintentionally take one of these little pills they think are Nerds and they're dead instantly. And so, yeah, there's a big concern. But, the cartels are making billions of dollars, Emma. They're making billions with the wide open border. But what's really sad, and probably the most common theme talking to the families, is the White House is not even talking about this national security issue. It's disgusting. And the Chinese role is not just with the chemicals, they're doing all the money laundering for the Mexican cartels, these Chinese criminal groups, picking up cash all over America.
Sure. The DEA, they've got some warnings for parents, some tips. You can see it on your screen. You can check it out online at the website. But basically, just encourage open and honest communication. That's a good way to do it. Talk about what fentanyl is, why it's so dangerous. Don't take any pills that are obviously not prescribed by your doctor. Don't purchase any pills on social media. So again, create an exit plan, too, to help your child know what to do if they're pressured to take a pill or use drugs. That's right. Kind of goes back to that old phrase, don't say no, right? I learned it growing up. But again, Derek, if there is a really tragic situation there, I know we've discussed the use of Narcan. Is there a way for parents just to get a hold of some of that on their own just in case they were near someone who might be suffering a drug overdose?
Yeah, I mean, Narcan is readily available, and thank God we have Narcan because it's saving lives every day. The numbers would be way higher than 300 a day if it wasn't for this miracle drug Narcan. But unfortunately, there's new drugs like xylazine, which is showing up now in Pennsylvania, Maryland, Michigan, Delaware, which it's a horse tranquilizer, and it's being mixed in with fentanyl. It's a flesh-eating drug. It's called Trank. And kids are dying, and these addicted people are dying in the streets. And unfortunately, Narcan will not reverse that overdose because it's not an opioid. It's a horse tranquilizer that they're putting in their bodies, and people are selling it. So it's a very bad situation. The number one thing that people have to realize, the illicit drug supply is tainted, and if you're using drugs illicitly, you could die instantly, and it's happening everywhere.
Yeah, great reminder there. It's not worth the risk. Derek Maltz joining us with his thoughts this morning. Derek, thanks so much. Appreciate the conversation.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
No crooked establishment.
None of that twisting the
truth.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax.
Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think.
They let
Let me decide.
Newsmax.
real news
For real people.